The largest animals to ever live on Earth were dinosaurs. But who was the biggest of them all, and by how much? Well, in today's video, we will answer just that question. We will look at the top 3 contenders for the title of Biggest Dinosaur and decide which one deserves it the most. Now, there are hundreds of different species of dinosaurs, but they are generally divided into 2 categories, sauropods and theropods. Sauropods were the plant-eating dinosaurs like Brachiosaurus and Diplodocus, while theropods included both plant-eaters like Velociraptor and Ornithomimus, but also carnivores such as Tyrannosaurus rex and Spinosaurus. For the most part, sauropods were the giants of the dinosaur world, easily growing over 20 meters long and weighing several tons. Theropods, on the other hand, were usually smaller, with most species reaching lengths of no more than 6 meters and rarely exceeding 1.5 tons in weight. However, there were a few theropod species that grew to gigantic sizes. So much so that some paleontologists now believe that the largest dinosaurs were actually theropods. Today, we will look at some of the largest theropods and sauropods to find out which truly deserves the title of Biggest Dinosaur. Number 3. Argentinosaurus. This giant beast was first discovered in Argentina in 1987 and was named after its country of discovery and the Greek word for lizard, sauros. When piecing together its skeleton, scientists estimated that it was around 12 meters long and weighed almost 70 tons. However, recent studies suggest that these numbers are underestimates. One scientist even claimed that the specimen he studied was at least 18 meters long based on the size of its vertebrae and hip bones. If this is true, then Argentinosaurus would have been the longest animal to ever live on Earth, surpassing even the blue whale. According to this same researcher, the complete skeleton of Argentinosaurus would measure about 24 meters. He bases this estimate on the fact that the tail made up half of the animal's total length, just like in modern whales. The problem with trying to determine the length of ancient creatures from only a few fossil bones is that we don't know how complete their skeletons are. All we can do is estimate. Therefore, without more evidence, it is impossible to say whether or not Argentinosaurus was really 18 or even 24 meters long. The best estimate for its length is probably somewhere between these 2 figures. A more conservative estimate for its weight is around 100 tons, making it the heaviest dinosaur ever discovered. It was certainly a sauropod, but we still don't know exactly what kind of plant it ate. Its fossils have been found in South America, Europe, and Africa, showing that this species had a wide distribution across the supercontinent of Gondwana. The exact dating of Argentinosaurus is uncertain, but it lived during the late Cretaceous period, approximately 97 to 94 million years ago. No, 2. See Megalodon. When it comes to prehistoric sharks, none were more massive than the Megalodon. This gigantic shark had a massive body with a huge head and mouth filled with rows upon rows of sharp, serrated teeth. It was truly the apex predator of the oceans. Paleontologists believe that the Megalodon was around 15 meters long, although some estimates place it at 20 meters or more. Its weight could reach up to 60 tons. Fossils of this enormous shark have been found all over the world, including North America, South America, Europe, Asia, and Australia. It swam in the Earth's temperate and tropical waters from about 23 to 3.6 million years ago. The Megalodon had a massive bite force of 10,780 kilograms per square centimeter, which was strong enough to crush the bones of its prey. Its teeth were around 18 centimeters in length and were designed for shearing through flesh. There is no doubt that the Megalodon was an incredibly powerful hunter. In fact, it was so large and strong that it was likely capable of attacking and devouring nearly any marine animal it encountered. This includes whales, dolphins, seals, sea turtles, and other sharks. Megalodon remains have been found with scars and injuries that suggest they were caused by other megalodons. This suggests that these sharks were not only apex predators, but they were also cannibalistic. Number 1. Patagotitan. First discovered in 2014, Patagotitan is a relatively new addition to the list of giant dinosaurs. It was named after the region where it was found in Patagonia, Argentina. This herbivorous sauropod was truly a massive creature. At around 37.2 meters long and weighing upwards of 70 tons, it was one of the largest land-dwelling animals that ever existed. In fact, it was longer than any other known terrestrial animal, including modern giraffes, blue whales, and even elephants. At the time of its discovery, many paleontologists were surprised that a dinosaur of this size existed. After all, the previous known record holder for the largest dinosaur was Argentinosaurus, which was only about half the length of Patagotitan. What's more, the fossil of Patagotitan was found to be incomplete, meaning that the actual size of this dinosaur may have been even greater than 37.2 meters. It lived during the late Cretaceous period in what is now southern South America. During this time, the continent of Antarctica was still attached to the others, forming a supercontinent called Gondwana. Gondwana was surrounded by warm ocean currents, which provided the perfect conditions for the evolution of large marine and terrestrial animals. The ancestors of Patagotitan likely migrated to Patagonia from other parts of Gondwana. Over millions of years, they evolved into one of the largest creatures to ever walk the earth. Which dinosaur is really the biggest? Now we come to the final question: which dinosaur truly deserves the title of Biggest Dinosaur? Let us take a closer look at our top 3 contenders. First, we have the Megalodon, a massive shark that reached lengths of up to 20 meters and weighed over 60 tons. Next, we have Patagotitan, a sauropod that grew to be at least 37.2 meters long and weighed an estimated 70 tons. Finally, we have Argentinosaurus, another sauropod that may have grown to be as long as 24 meters and weighed around 100 tons. The Megalodon was undoubtedly the largest and most fearsome predator of the oceans. However, it lived in the water, not on land. Therefore, it is not eligible for the title of Biggest Dinosaur. That leaves us with Patagotitan and Argentinosaurus. Both of these dinosaurs were herbivores that used their immense size to tower over their environment. They likely used their long necks to reach high plants that no other herbivores could access. This gave them a significant advantage when food was scarce. In terms of size, Patagotitan was at least 37.2 meters long and weighed over 70 tons. Argentinosaurus, on the other hand, may have grown to be as long as 24 meters and weighed around 100 tons. Based on these figures, Argentinosaurus was the bigger of the two. However, we must remember that the fossil of Patagotitan is incomplete, meaning that it may have been even longer than 37.2 meters. Additionally, the fossil of Argentinosaurus is also incomplete, so it may not have really been 24 meters long. Until more fossils are discovered, it is impossible to say for sure which dinosaur was truly the biggest. However, based on the available evidence, Argentinosaurus was likely the larger of the two. It was at least 12 meters long and weighed around 70 tons, whereas the best estimate for Patagotitan is around 37.2 meters and 100 tons. Conclusion: we will never know for sure what the largest dinosaur was, but we can make an educated guess based on the available evidence. It seems likely that Argentinosaurus was the biggest dinosaur that ever lived. It was a massive herbivore that grew to be at least 12 meters long and weighed around 70 tons. It was truly a gentle giant that used its immense size to tower over the other dinosaurs. If you want to learn more about dinosaurs, check out our other videos. Thanks for watching.